Greetings fellow modelers, my name is Ben and welcome back to the bench for a brand new season of Ben Builds Military Mondays. I'm kind of unofficially calling this Military Mondays because I always upload military and it's usually on a Monday. So I thought today we would go ahead and pick a brand new kit coming off that SU-15. Why not pick something easier and something Japanese? So this is what I've actually decided on building. This is a 1/48 scale Mitsubishi J2M3 Raiden, allied code name of Jack. And this is one of those kits that, well, box has seen better days, the instructions have some water damage, but the parts are clean and the decals are nice and crisp. So let's go ahead and dive right on in, guys, and take a look at the instructions. Now, like most Hasegawa kits, these instructions are very cleanly printed. They do have that fold-out brochure style. As you can see, we start off in the cockpit, we work our way down through the different sub-assemblies to finally finishing off with the completed aircraft. The cockpits usually here on Hasegawa kits are generally very nice. Doesn't mean they can't use a little bit of update here and there, but for the most part, they're decently molded. In fact, most parts on a Hasegawa kit fit very well together, and usually I haven't had any trouble with this particular manufacturer. Now, we are given a couple of different options, like for some reason 2 different propellers. I'm not really sure why. I have to do a little bit more research, but otherwise we are looking pretty decent with this model. It should be a lot easier than what we just finished building. On the back of the instructions, we have our part breakdown. As you can see, we've got a lot of parts in this kit, and of course our paint there at the bottom. So that's pretty decent, very typical Hasegawa layout. Now, for our color schemes, we are only given 2 different options for this particular build. Both of them have the exact same coloring, that JN green up on top, and we have a light grayish green on the bottom. So these look pretty much similar. So aside from a few decal options, we really don't have that much difference between these 2 aircraft. Now, the decals and the clear parts are contained in one poly bag, like most of the Hasegawa kits I've built. So let's go ahead and open that up and take a look at what we have. One of the drawbacks of this kit is that we do not have a separate canopy. We have only one piece canopy that has the front windscreen, the sliding portion, and then the rear panels. This is all one piece. So unfortunately, we don't really have the option of displaying it with an open cockpit. Now, we could actually cut these and try to separate them that way, but I'm not sure how well that would work, seeing as the rear panels are actually underneath that center section that would normally slide. It is something we might be able to look into. Otherwise, I could always just go pick up one of those replacement canopies from Squadron or something like that, but for right now, we're going to leave it. Then we have our poly caps for our propeller, I'm assuming, and we have our decals. Now, these look fine. I don't really see any issue. They're very simple decals. We do have a nice assortment of different tactical numbers that we could kind of mix and match for different aircraft, which is interesting. We have our Rising Sun national markings. I actually thought about painting those on, so that might be kind of fun to try, but I'm not entirely sure just yet. We'll see how the build goes and see how I feel at the end. Now let's go ahead and take a quick look at the parts. Now, Hasegawa puts all of its parts into one poly bag. The problem with that is inevitably, if the kits have seen a lot of action, well, you get parts and pieces that just fall off. They get caught on each other and they pull each other off the sprue. So that's a little bit on the disappointing side. Now, looking over at a close-up here of the fuselage, we can see that the panel lines are very finely recessed. Hasegawa always has very nice surface detail. We do have individual exhaust stacks, so that's a little unusual. I would assume that would be one piece, but we have individual ones there to go ahead and put it in their place. But that might make it easier to drill out. I don't really know. Now, while we have both of these parts off the sprue, let's go ahead and test fit them, see how they go together. And let's just couple locating pins right there. Oh yeah, this is not going to be any problem whatsoever. This actually has way better fit than the SU-15 and the Kitty Hawk FJ2, so I'm happy. This should be a really fun build. Also, the other parts and pieces like the bottom of the wings, also beautiful detail. We do have some nicely molded in wires and actuators and whatnot there in the wheel wells. And of course, our instrument panel, bezels and dials and gauges, so it looks pretty nice. Would be challenging to paint up, but I think it's going to be a really nice look. And then aside from that, our sidewalls look great. They might use a little bit of some wiring here and there, but I'm going to need to check my references. And then of course the floor, we might need to add a couple of wires in there as well. So this has some room. We could do some improvements if we wanted to. Moving over to the top of the wings, we can see again, finely recessed panel lines. Everything looks very, very well molded in. We do have very prominent opening right here for the guns and for the ammo. I suppose if you really wanted to, you could cut them off, pose them open, maybe get some resin inserts or something, but we're not going to worry about that. Now, like most kits I build, I love to have references, and references for the J2M, they're kind of few and far between, but I was able to find this. Now, this is Aircraft of the Aces number 129. It deals with the Raiden, the Shinden, and the Shinden Kai. It goes through the aircraft development, it goes through the aces that flew them, how they were in combat, all of their little intricate details. I love Osprey books. And as a bonus, we get to go ahead and learn a little bit about the Kawanishi fighters as well, the N1K1 and then the N1K2. So that should be kind of fun to go ahead and dive in. Now most Ospreys will have a very large section right in the middle of the book for all of our color profiles. This one is no different. In fact, this is one of the aircraft right here that we have in our kit to build. And this would be a really helpful tool to kind of figure out weathering and different paint wear, learn a little bit more about the fighters and the pilots who flew them. So that should be interesting. But anyway, everybody, let's go ahead and call it quits for today. I just wanted to go ahead and give you a quick look at what we're going to be building, talk a little bit about the reference that I have, and we're just going to go ahead and have fun with it. This is going to be way easier than our Su-15 or the FJ2 Fury that I built before that. So until our next episode, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. You know the drill. Go out there, get yourself some bench time, have some fun, build something cool. Make sure to tune in next Monday for episode number 2 for our J2M3 Jack. Thanks so much, everybody. Take care.